Welcome to DarrowmereUS' guide for Ultraxion. Ultraxion is the 5th encounter in the Dragon Soul raid. The mechanics of the encounter are simple, however it is the gear check of this tier, requiring both high amounts of DPS and healing. First, I'd like to thank Paldur of the DarrowmereUS 25-man team for the footage shown in this guide, and the rest of the 25-man team for the kill. Our group consisted of 2 tanks, 6 healers, and 17 DPS. However, similar raid configurations may work just as well. Now I'll initially go over the general raid mechanics, and then talk about individual role strategies. The encounter against Ultraxion is only one phase, however the difficulty does increase over time. The fight is both the hard and soft in rage, ensuring that close to or at the 6-minute mark, your raid will unavoidably wipe. The encounter does not present any difficult mechanics, however it does contain 2 very punishing abilities. These abilities must be dealt with perfectly every time. Additionally, the fight requires a tank switch, as well as strong amounts of AoE healing. For the entire duration of the fight, the boss and the raid will remain stationary. Your raid may notice the 5 aspects atop Wormrest Summit. These aspects grant the raid different kinds of buffs. These buffs do not trivialize the fight, but rather make it possible to be completed. Finally, the encounter is triggered by talking to Thrall. Now we will go over specific raid mechanics. This encounter takes place in 2 realms, the Twilight Realm and the Normal Realm. For the vast majority of the encounter, the raid will be within the Twilight Realm. Raid members will only need to enter the Normal Realm when they have to avoid specific abilities that Ultraxion uses. This occurs several times during the fight. The only way to exit the Twilight Realm is by using the Heroic Will ability. Heroic Will has a 5-second cooldown and has no resource cost. It is off global cooldown and can be used even while you are casting or channeling another spell. Using Heroic Will has no beneficial effects, except that it removes you from the Twilight Realm for 5 seconds. During those 5 seconds, you are unable to perform any actions whatsoever, such as damage dealing, healing, or even moving. It is important to note that many custom action bar add-ons are experiencing issues with displaying Heroic Will currently. In order to avoid a wipe due to this, we advise that raid members keybind Heroic Will. Heroic Will can be found in the key bindings menu as Extra Action Button 1. Now I will go over Ultraxion's specific abilities. First, Hour of Twilight. Hour of Twilight deals 300,000 unresistible shadow damage to every player in the Twilight Realm. Ultraxion casts this ability every 45 seconds. Players will need to use Heroic Will to exit the Twilight Realm just as this ability is about to be cast. Right after Ultraxion casts his ability, players in the Normal Realm are automatically brought back to the Twilight Realm. In 10-man difficulty, at least 1 player must remain within the Twilight Realm and take the damage from this ability, otherwise the raid will instantly wipe. In 25-man, 3 players must do this. So essentially, in 10-man, the tank must stay out for the Hour of Twilight and pop a cooldown to survive, while in 25-man, both tanks must stay out in addition to 1 DPS that has a strong survivability cooldown. Fading Light is a debuff that Ultraxion places on the current tank and 1 random DPS player in 10-man and 3 random DPS players in 25-man. This lasts between 5 and 10 seconds, and the exact duration is randomly chosen each time, and instantly causes their death when it expires if they are in the Twilight Realm. If players are in the Normal Realm when their debuff expires, they'll be brought to the Twilight Realm, their threat will be reset, and they will be unable to generate any threat for 10 seconds. Ultraxion begins casting this ability after the first Hour of Twilight, and will always cast Fading Light twice in the 45-second interval between 2 Hour of Twilight casts. Finally, there are 2 Enrage abilities. First, Unstable Monstrosity is his soft Enrage ability. Unstable Monstrosity causes Ultraxion to deal a high amount of shadow damage, split between all players within 30 yards who are in the Twilight Realm. He initially casts his ability every 6 seconds, but every minute that elapses in the encounter reduces the interval between casts by 1 second. Thus, before the fight is over, Ultraxion will be casting Unstable Monstrosity every second. Finally, Twilight Eruption is his hard Enrage ability. After 6 minutes, this ability is cast and kills everyone in the raid. Now I'll explain the buffs that the aspects give to the raid. First, Thrall gives both the tanks Last Defender of Azeroth. This buff reduces the cooldown of the tank's defensive cooldowns by 50% and increases their duration by 100%. This essentially makes it so the tanks can usually keep 1 cooldown up for most of the fight. For example, a Feral Druid can keep Barkskin up the entire encounter. Second, there are 3 buffs that the healers can choose from. There's the red buff, the green buff, and the blue buff. In 10-man, there are 1 of each buff, and in 25-man, there are 2 of each buff. The red buff simply increases all healing done by 100%. The green buff causes heals cast by the player to also heal the entire raid for the same amount. The healing done to the raid is split evenly among all raid members. Finally, the blue buff reduces mana cost of all spells by 75% and increases spell haste by 100%. In addition, Nor's Domu gives all raid members a buff 1 minute before the hardened rage timer. This buff prevents players from dying once. The first killing blow that they receive will instead heal them up to 100% of their health and remove the time loop buff. And that will do it for Enhancement guide for Ultraxion. Since we are new to this video guides thing, we would love any comments or constructive criticism in the comment section below. In addition, we would like to thank Icy Veins for providing timers and specific information on abilities and debuffs. In addition, please check out this guide in brief. It will quickly go over major mechanics in this fight and give specific role strategies. We will be posting more guides as we down more bosses. Thanks for watching, and we hope to see you back next time.